probably seen her, right? Standing just behind her brother, North Korea's supreme leader, Kim Jong-un, often with this faint, almost gentle smile. But don't let that fool you. Experts around the globe have given her a much, much heavier title, the most dangerous woman in the world. So, how on earth did she get that reputation? Let's dig in. It's like we're looking at two completely different people. On one hand, you have the smiling diplomat. Remember the 2018 Winter Olympics? She was the face of North Korea, charming everyone, presenting this soft, modern image for a super secretive state. But then, you've got the Iron Lady persona. This is the woman who threatens nations with nuclear annihilation and slings these unbelievably harsh insults at other world leaders. So what's the deal? Is this just some kind of calculated good cop, bad cop routine with her brother? Or are we seeing who she really is? So that's the big question, isn't it? Which one is the real Kim Yo Jong? To figure that out, we have to go way back and peel back the layers of secrecy that have surrounded her entire life. And her story really begins with a childhood that was, for all intents and purposes, a complete secret from the rest of the world. This is where an unbreakable bond was forged, and maybe a shared ruthless ambition, too. So, get this. Back in 1996, she's sent off to a school in Switzerland, living under a fake name. Her brother, Kim Jong-un, joins her, also with an alias. They're living in this pretty normal apartment, but they're completely isolated, watched over by undercover guards. Imagine that. Just the two of them, alone in a foreign country. Those years are crucial, because that's where they formed this incredibly tight bond. She comes back home in 2000, eventually gets a degree in computer science, and then, poof, she's a ghost. We don't see her again until 2011, when she suddenly appears at her father's funeral, right next to her brother. And that was a huge signal to everyone watching. She's in the inner circle now. But she didn't just stumble into the inner circle. Oh no. Her rise was quiet, methodical, and totally calculated. She literally built her own path right to the hearts of the regime. It was a step-by-step climb, and it started when she was only 23. Her first gig? Her brother's tour manager. Now that sounds like a junior role, right? Wrong. It was anything but minor. She was in charge of his travel, his security, his schedule, his entire public life. That's a position of absolute unwavering trust. From there, she moves up to vice director of the propaganda and agitation department. And just a year later, boom, she's the de facto chief holding the reins of the entire state's propaganda machine. And she had one main mission: to build a cult of personality around her brother. The goal was to make him look just as powerful, just as godlike as their grandfather Kim Il-sung, the founder of North Korea. So you see, she wasn't just his sister or an aide. She was the architect of his entire public image. So for years, the world just saw this quiet woman in the background, literally holding an ashtray for her brother while he smoked, just a loyal assistant. But then an event happened that completely shattered that illusion. Okay, fast forward to April 2020. Kim Jong-un just vanishes. He's gone. The world goes into a frenzy, speculating that he's dead or seriously ill. And in that power vacuum, that total silence from Pyongyang, a new, incredibly powerful voice suddenly breaks through. And it was her voice. This was her first ever statement issued in her own name. And what did she say, referring to South Korea? She said, "They are like a frightened dog barking." Whoa. The message couldn't have been clearer. It was an absolute declaration to the world. My brother might be gone, but I'm here, and I am ready. And believe me, this wasn't just empty talk. Her ruthlessness is legendary. I mean, think about this. She's been linked to ordering the 2020 destruction of the Inner Korean Liaison Office, a huge symbol of peace, just blown to bits. She's also allegedly the one who orchestrated the execution of her own uncle back in 2013. And what was his crime? Supposedly not clapping hard enough for her brother. She's even been linked to the assassination of her half-brother, Kim Jong-nam. And we hear reports that high-ranking officials have been executed, just for showing her disrespect. So now, with her power base totally secure, she's taken on a new, very public role. She's the official voice of the state. And her style is, well, it's something else. Honestly, her language is often even more brutal and personal than her brother's. She's called the US president an old man with no future. She calls people who managed to escape North Korea filthy mongrel dogs. These aren't just insults, they're weapons. Every word is designed to show complete contempt and project absolute, uncompromising strength.
And her voice isn't just loud, it's official. We're talking more than 40 official state statements that she has personally issued. Now, you have to understand, that's a job that was always reserved for the supreme leader and the supreme leader alone. So this isn't just her brother letting her help out. This is real power sharing.
Okay, so let's put it all together. The secret childhood, the methodical climb to the top, the sheer ruthlessness, it all leads us to the biggest question of them all. Right now, there's really no debate among experts. She is the de facto #2 in North Korea. It's not her official title, but it's the reality. She's involved in all the major policy decisions, from foreign affairs to the military. She's not just an advisor. She's at the heart of the regime's power structure. So what happens if Kim Jong-un were to suddenly die? Well, according to some of the highest-ranking people to ever defect from North Korea, the answer is simple. His kids are just way too young to rule. That means the line of succession points to one person and one person only, her. She would be the undisputed heir. And that leaves us with one final, really unsettling question. Look, history has had plenty of ruthless queens and powerful empresses, but it has never, ever seen one with her finger on a nuclear button, with absolute control over one of the most secretive and militarized societies on Earth. So the real question isn't just if she's dangerous, it's if or when she takes power. Is the world even remotely ready for what she'll do next?